What if I told you that the secret to a stronger, calmer, and more resilient life isn't found in motivation or luck, but in the habits you build every day? In a world full of distractions, stress, and endless opinions, the ancient Stoics mastered a way of living that made them unshakable. But Stoicism isn't just an old philosophy. It's a toolkit for modern life. Today, we're diving into 8 Stoic habits that will help you become your best self. These aren't just abstract ideas. They are practical, actionable principles that you can start using immediately to develop discipline, emotional control, and unbreakable mental toughness. And the best part? The more you apply them, the more effortless they become. By the end of this video, you'll have a clear roadmap for living with more purpose, clarity, and resilience, no matter what life throws your way. So, if you're ready to stop reacting and start mastering your life, let's get into it. Number 1. Master your emotions before they master you. A modern-day Stoic walks through life with a quiet power, not because they have eliminated emotions, but because they have learned to rule over them. Imagine this. You're in a heated argument with a coworker. Your pulse quickens, your breath shortens, and frustration creeps up your spine. The impulse to retaliate, to fire back a stinging comment, is almost irresistible. But in that moment, you remember Seneca's words. A wise man is content with his lot, whatever it may be, without wishing for what he has not. You don't wish that your coworker was more understanding. You don't wish the situation was different. You accept it as it is and focus on what you can control, your own reaction. Instead of lashing out, you take a breath. You respond with clarity, not anger. Your calmness unsettles them more than any sharp words ever could. Emotional mastery isn't about suppressing feelings. It's about recognizing that emotions are signals, not commands. You might feel anger, but it doesn't mean you must act on it. You might feel fear, but it doesn't mean you must retreat. The modern Stoic trains daily in this, whether it's dealing with traffic, a difficult boss, or personal struggles. The practice remains the same. Control yourself first. When life pushes you, don't be like a leaf in the wind, carried away by every strong gust of emotion. Be the tree, firm, unshaken. Mastering emotions is not about indifference, but about sovereignty over yourself. And in that you find true freedom. Number 2, embrace discomfort to build resilience. In a world obsessed with comfort, the modern Stoic understands a truth most avoid. Too much comfort weakens the soul. No man is more unhappy than he who never faces adversity, for he is not permitted to prove himself. Seneca reminds us, if you never experience hardship, you never develop strength. If everything is easy, you never learn resilience. You see it every day. People avoiding the hard road, staying in their bubble, never challenging themselves. But the Stoic seeks out difficulty, knowing that it is only through trial that one grows. You take the cold shower not because you enjoy suffering, but because it teaches you to endure discomfort. You wake up early to exercise not because it's fun, but because discipline is built through effort. You speak up in meetings, take risks, push past your limits, not because it's easy, but because hardship is the training ground of the mind. Comfort is seductive. It lulls you into stagnation. The more you indulge in it, the weaker you become. But by voluntarily embracing discomfort, you inoculate yourself against life's inevitable difficulties. You get comfortable being uncomfortable. When true adversity arrives, and it will, you will not break like those who have never tested themselves. Modern life makes it easy to avoid pain. We have instant gratification, endless distractions, and a culture that prizes ease over effort. But the Stoic resists. They choose the uphill climb, the extra rep, the difficult conversation. They know that every challenge faced willingly sharpens their mind and spirit. Hardship will find you whether you seek it or not. The difference is whether you are ready when it arrives. Train now, embrace discomfort, and when life demands strength, you will have it. Number 3, focus on what you can control. Ignore the rest. A modern Stoic wakes up to an onslaught of notifications, news updates, and social media opinions. The world screams for attention, demanding concern over politics, economy, and drama from people they'll never meet. It's overwhelming, but the Stoic remembers Epictetus's words. Make the best use of what is in your power and take the rest as it happens. Consider this. You're stuck in traffic, running late for an important meeting. Your pulse rises, frustration simmers. But what does anger accomplish? Can you move the cars ahead of you? No. Can you rewind time? No. The only thing within your control is your mindset and response. So you take a breath, accept reality, and use the time wisely. Perhaps to listen to an audiobook, reflect on your day, or simply practice patience. This principle applies everywhere. You can't control whether your boss recognizes your hard work, but you can control the effort you put in. You can't control whether someone likes you, but you can control how you treat others. You can't stop a storm from coming, but you can prepare for it. Every ounce of energy wasted on the uncontrollable is energy stolen from what you can change. Most people live in a constant state of anxiety, trying to manipulate what is beyond their grasp. The modern Stoic breaks free by narrowing their focus to what is within their power. They act with intention, release attachment to outcomes, and, as a result, find a rare and powerful peace. Life is chaotic, unpredictable, and often unfair. But within that storm, there is a space of control, and it is in that space that true strength is built. Number 4, live as if today were your last. The modern world moves fast. Deadlines, obligations, endless to-do lists. People push their dreams into the vague someday, assuming there's always time. But the Stoic knows better. Seneca warns us, you act like mortals in all that you fear, and like immortals in all that you desire. We live as if we have all the time in the world, yet fear death as if it will come too soon. Imagine waking up today and realizing it might be your last. Would you waste time arguing over trivial matters? Would you put off telling someone you love them? Would you scroll mindlessly on your phone, filling the hours with nothing? Likely not. You would live with urgency, with depth, with presence. A modern Stoic adopts this mindset not out of paranoia, but as a way of sharpening life's clarity. They do not dwell on the past or obsess over an uncertain future. They fully engage with the present moment, understanding that the only time guaranteed is now. Work is done with care, conversations are meaningful, and decisions are made with purpose. Living this way doesn't mean reckless abandon. It means eliminating procrastination, prioritizing what truly matters, and appreciating the ordinary. Drinking a cup of coffee becomes an experience. Laughing with a friend is savored. A simple walk in the morning sun is a gift. The modern Stoic refuses to let life slip by unnoticed. Most people die without ever truly living. But those who embrace mortality, who understand the fragility of time, live with a richness that others never will. Not tomorrow, not later. Now. Number 5. Develop an unshakable mindset through rehearsed hardship. The modern Stoic understands that most suffering comes not from events themselves, but from being caught off guard by them. Life will test you, your job, your relationships, your health. The only question is, will you be ready? Seneca provides the key. He robs present ills of their power, who has perceived their coming beforehand. This is why the Stoic practices hardship before it arrives. They do not wait for life to throw them into chaos. They train in advance. They sleep on the floor occasionally to remind themselves that luxury is not a necessity. They fast to prove that hunger is not the end of the world. They visualize worst-case scenarios, not to be negative, but to strip fear of its power. When you have already confronted an outcome in your mind, its impact in reality is greatly diminished. Modern society avoids discomfort at all costs, creating fragile people who crumble at the first sign of adversity. But the Stoic is different. They simulate difficulty to build strength. When financial struggles come, they are unfazed because they have already practiced living with less. When rejection happens, they are steady because they have prepared for it. When stress mounts, they breathe through it, knowing they have been here before. This habit of rehearsing hardship does not make life harder. It makes life easier. The unexpected loses its sting. Fear loses its grip. The Stoic does not hope to be strong when adversity comes. They ensure they are strong by facing discomfort before it is forced upon them. When others panic, the Stoic remains still, not because they are immune to hardship, but because they have met it before and walked away stronger. Number 6. Detach from the opinions of others. The modern world is louder than ever. Everyone has an opinion, and they are all too eager to share it. Social media, workplace gossip, even family members. They all have something to say about your choices, your actions, your life. Most people are prisoners to this noise, constantly seeking validation or fearing criticism. But the modern Stoic understands the truth. Opinions are not reality. Epictetus puts it plainly. If you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid. Imagine you decide to start something new, a business, a fitness journey, or even a creative project. The moment you step forward, the world reacts. Some people doubt you, others mock you. Some say nothing at all, and you wonder if that silence is judgment. The average person lets this get to them. They shrink back, abandon their path, and conform to what is acceptable to avoid standing out. But not the Stoic. A Stoic knows that approval is fleeting. Those who praise you today may turn on you tomorrow. If you build your self-worth on the opinions of others, you will forever be at their mercy. Instead, you turn inward, seeking validation only from yourself. You act with integrity, guided by reason and principle, rather than the shifting opinions of the crowd. This detachment does not mean arrogance. It means freedom. You listen, but you are not ruled. You consider feedback, but you are not defined by it. You walk your own path, knowing that to truly live as your best self, you must first stop living for others. When you no longer fear judgment, you become untouchable. You move through life with a quiet confidence, understanding that no opinion, good or bad, can change the truth of who you are. Number 7. Speak little, do much. In today's world, people love to talk. Social media is filled with grand proclamations, plans, goals, promises. But for all the talking, very few actually follow through. The modern Stoic is different. They know that words mean nothing without action. First, learn the meaning of what you say, and then speak, Epictetus advises. Consider the coworker who constantly talks about how busy they are, but never seems to get anything done. Or the friend who endlessly talks about a dream project, but never takes the first step. This is the trap of empty words, a false sense of accomplishment that comes from merely talking about doing rather than doing. The Stoic speaks with intention. They do not waste words on idle gossip or meaningless complaints. If they say they will do something, they do it. If they have an opinion, it is well thought out. They listen more than they speak, understanding that wisdom grows in silence, not in constant chatter. In practice, this means resisting the urge to announce every goal. It means proving yourself through consistent effort rather than trying to convince others with words. It means recognizing that the strongest people are not the ones who boast the loudest, but those who quietly and relentlessly build. A modern Stoic is a person of action. Their success does not come from making promises. It comes from keeping them. The less you say, the more power your words carry. The more you act, the less you need to explain. Number 8. Practice gratitude daily, no matter the circumstances. The modern world is built on dissatisfaction. Advertisements tell you that you need more to be happy, more money, more status, more possessions. Social media bombards you with highlights of other people's lives, making you feel like yours is lacking. But the Stoic refuses to play this game. They know that true contentment comes not from acquiring more, but from appreciating what they already have. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, "Do not indulge in dreams of having what you have not, but reckon up the chief of the blessings you do possess, and then thankfully remember how you would crave for them if they were not yours." Think about it. How often do you take things for granted? Your health, your loved ones, even something as simple as a warm bed at night. If these were suddenly taken from you, you would long for them. Yet, in having them, you barely notice. The modern Stoic cultivates gratitude as a daily practice. They do not wait for loss to remind them of what they have. This does not mean ignoring hardships. Life will always bring struggles. But even in suffering, there is something to be grateful for. A lesson, a new perspective, an opportunity to grow. Gratitude is not about denying pain. It is about refusing to let it blind you to the good that still exists. The world constantly whispers that you need more to be happy. The Stoic rejects this lie. They wake up each day and recognize that they already have enough. In that recognition, they find peace, A grateful mind is an unshakable one. And in a world of endless desire, gratitude is the ultimate rebellion. The world will always be chaotic. There will always be challenges, setbacks, and people who doubt you. But the difference between those who struggle endlessly and those who rise above it all comes down to daily habits. The Stoics didn't just think about these principles, they lived them. Now it's your turn. Which of these Stoic habits will you start applying today? Maybe it's focusing only on what you can control. Maybe it's training yourself to embrace discomfort. Whatever it is, take action now, because wisdom means nothing without action. If you found this video helpful, please like and share it to spread the wisdom of Stoic philosophy. Don't forget to subscribe so you won't miss future videos on Stoic living and personal growth. Thank you for watching, and I wish you strength on your journey.